Bruce Bingman has been with the race committee with Premier Racing for many years here in Key West. He's also the head of the consortium that determines perf ratings for our regatta. We have a new element this year, Bruce. We have 3 different rating systems there, or what's one rating system, but 3 different ratings based on the wind range. Can you explain, first of all, why did we move to this system as opposed to the old way where you got one rating and that was your rating no matter what the wind was?
Okay, the reason actually came because of the requests of a number of the competitors. In the old days when we raced, we grouped boats by sail area to displacement and displacement to length. So we had similar type boats all grouped in their own classes.
So it was a tight band.
So it was a very tight band, not only rating-wise, maybe 30 seconds per mile or less in the bands, but they were all the same. They were either light displacement or medium displacement or heavy displacement boats. The problem has come as the perf classes have shrunk, and we're now throwing mixed classes together where we could have a light displacement boat racing against a heavy displacement boat. Now the boats behave far differently in light air or heavy air. So in order to make the overall rating fairer, the attempt was to go to a wind rating system.
Right.
This is similar to what several perf areas around the country have done as well.
Right. How difficult is that? I mean, you've got to try to really look closely at the boats and determine how they perform in light, moderate, and heavy air, and then assign a rating. And I'm sure some of these owners who've had the same rating here in Key West for many years were probably not too happy to have their rating different in a particular wind range. Kind of talk about the difficulty of coming up with 3 different ratings for each boat depending on the wind range.
Well, it is somewhat difficult, but very fortunately I have records that go back to approximately 2002 or 2003 where I have actual elapsed times, and in many cases I actually have elapsed times at each mark rounding for the various boats. So what we can do from that is we can compile what we call an imputed or a sailed to rating.
Right.
And then over the years, you take all of the ratings where you knew it was under 10 and all of the ratings, you know, 10 to 18, and then the ratings when it was over 18. And the breaks, there's always some difficulty in trying to decide exactly where you predict the breaks. We selected it at 9 knots and 18 knots, basically, because those are wind ranges that historically have not been super frequent at Key West. It's typically been under 9, it's been in that mid-range, typically 12, 14, 15, or it's been 20 or more. So those seem to be bands that you could select without running the risk of falling right on those bands.
It would seem to me that if I was a skipper, I'd be happy with this because it more fairly reflects in the specific wind ranges. So, let's say I'm a boat that does well in light air but not heavy air. Now I'm being compensated for that as opposed to just suffering through my rating no matter what the condition. I would think that most skippers would be happy to have this more tightly band as far as I would see.
Well, some are, some aren't. I mean, it's something new, and whenever you try something new, you've got some people that are happy and some people that aren't. But you're correct. If on the average, what you see is that the lighter displacement boats end up having their rating lowered in the lighter breeze, raised a little bit in the heavier breeze, and the heavy displacement boats tend to have their ratings raised in the light breeze and lowered a little bit in the heavier breeze.
Right. Well, I imagine after a week of with this new system, you'll get some new data, and next year it'll be even easier for you to figure this out.
Well, we certainly hope so.
Right. All right. Thank you very much, Bruce. Appreciate you explaining that to us.
All righty.